Jeff Crouere here. Thanks for joining us. It's Ringside WGSO, 990 AM, WGSO.com. Each day in the program, we have a Ringside All-Star who checks in with us. And on Tuesdays, very pleased to have with us the publisher of Bayobuzz.com, Steve Sabludowsky. Now, we're visiting on the airwaves here on 990 AM and WGSO.com, and also via Google Hangout at Bayoubuzz.com. So you can listen in and also watch. And Steve, welcome aboard.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. How are you doing today? And we finally got this technology to work. How about that?
Yeah. We had the best minds working on it. And yes,
exactly.
It was solved. So, Steve, we've been focusing this morning a lot on this presidential race. I just had a discussion with one of our callers. He says there's no chance, no possible way Hillary Clinton is going to be the next president. She's going to be the next Democratic nominee. Bernie Sanders is a joke. There's no way he's going to be able to catch fire. And I said, well, what's going on? Bernie Sanders is generating the big crowds. Hillary seems to be stumbling. Sanders seems to be generating enthusiasm. His poll numbers are skyrocketing. That tells me that there's some vulnerability there in Hillary Clinton. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, somebody has had to get over the issue of invincibility, and I think that that's being shown right now, which to me I think is good, because I'd like to see more Democrats in there. I mean, I really would. I like to see a real full debate. So, and
well, you
like
got
I said,
Lincoln Chafee, Martin O'Malley, and now Jim Webb, but none of those guys seem to be generating anything.
I think it's early, and Jim Webb, I think certainly.
I think Jim Webb's a really attractive candidate. I mean,
yeah.
He is someone with incredible credentials. He worked for the Reagan administration. He's a former senator, someone who was a patriot, hero. I don't agree with him on all the issues, but I mean, I think he's someone who really is more of a centrist Democrat than we normally see, Steve.
Yeah, without the baggage of Clinton. So, yeah, I think that as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad to see that Clinton is falling. As you know, I've never have been really a fond Clinton person. The baggage to me is just a distraction. Now, in this case, with Bernie Sanders, I mean, obviously he's attracting a lot of the young voters. And I think he's got a message. Kind of reminds me of George McGovern in terms of.
Or how about Eugene McCarthy?
Sure, McCarthy, McGovern.
Right.
I think to some extent Paul Tsongas. So yeah, I certainly think there is a
Jerry Brown, maybe when he ran in the past.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever. I think probably the one who really probably caught fire more than anybody was McGovern. I mean, he took it all away, and then he got swamped.
And then, of course, you had Howard Dean for a while. He was like sort of the young person's candidate. He was on fire, and then he stumbled badly, went crazy in
New Hampshire.
A victory speech, and then people were like, "This guy's crazy."
Yeah, he squealed too loud and too long.
Right.
So yeah, it's anybody's game as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad to see it.
Well, I mean, we knew the Republican side would be a free-for-all. Little did we know the Democrat side would be this interesting. And, of course, the Republican side now has 14 official candidates. Bobby Jindal, of course, announced in Kenner. I was there covering that for a Baton Rouge station. And
no kidding.
I found that pretty interesting, being there, watching how everybody was sort of covering that, and he had all the folks from Fox News there and everything, and he gave one of his better speeches, and then did an interview with Hannity, and jumped right into doing I think a whole hour with Hannity last week.
Right.
So seemingly giving a lot of access to the national media, not so much the local media, but that's been the case since day one.
So just out of curiosity, did the local media have any access at all, or was it just the Hannity show?
I think he did the one-on-one with the Hannity show, and that's it. Then I
Yeah,
think he took off.
I think the local media was able to talk to Timmy Teeple or somebody else on message, and so that's it's Jindal for you.
504-556-9690. Sabludowsky with us. Jeff Crouere here. It's ringside WGSO 990 AM, WGSO.com. Let's bring on our friend Cherokee White Devil, who's with us. Hey, Cherokee, how are you? Good morning.
I'm doing great, Jeff, man. I'm doing great.
Welcome aboard. What's going on today? What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I got 5 of my 9 grandchildren in the kitchen, and that's enough for anybody going on.
All right.
They're all little. At any rate, what this shows me with the Bernie phenomenon is the fact that Hillary is not liked by anybody. She is the most awkward, ill-equipped person to be running for president. That's why she can't take any questions. The more you expose her to the people, the more they dislike her. And if she hadn't been crowned the nominee of the Democrats and protected by the drive-by media, she wouldn't be where she is now. She is a terrible candidate, a terrible politician. And I, like you, have looked at Jim Webb and said, well, if, worst case scenario, if we have to have a Democrat, I'd much rather have him.
Oh, so would I. At
least I think he's stable.
Yeah.
Instead of one of these left-wing nuts like Colonel Ketchup. And, you just look at her and nobody likes her, And she's a mean mama. Let me tell you something. That hearing when she said, what difference does it make?
Right.
Let me tell you something. That is her true personality. When Clinton was first elected, I happened to be in an outing in Arkansas where this woman I was talking to was high up in the security of the country. And the reports were that she would pick up anything at any time and throw it at Bill.
Oh, I heard that happen in the White House. I mean, there were reports that happened. I think Secret Service agents wrote a book about that, and that was one of the allegations.
So, if I was Bill, I'd be out giving speeches and be away from home as much as I could.
Well, I think he does. I think he does that. I don't think they spend a lot of time together there, Cherokee. All right. Good to hear from you, my friend. And I think, Steve, I have to agree with Cherokee. I don't think Hillary's got the political skill that her husband has. I don't think she's particularly captivating. She does have 2 things going for her. She's a Clinton, so she's got the mystique of being married to Bill Clinton. And then she's a female, so, I mean, she could be supported by women across the country and men who want to see this country elect our first female president.
Well, I certainly don't think she's weak. I mean, I think that U.S. Senator, Secretary of State, we can say she did a bad job. I think she has the credibility issue on a lot of things. Anybody who doesn't meet the media, whether it's Jindal or Clinton, I just don't have any use for, as far as I'm concerned. But I certainly would not consider her to just be stupid or anything of that nature.
Oh, no, I don't think she's stupid. I mean,
okay.
Right lady. Sure. I just think she's not particularly skilled in politics, and I think what she does to try to hide that is keep the press at arm's length. In fact, I don't know if you saw the parade out in New Hampshire where they were literally roped off. I mean, she treated them like dogs. I mean, it's just, and I'm just wondering, would they take this kind of treatment from a Republican?
Sure. I mean, let's see, David Vitter, Bobby Jindal, if you talk in terms of local. So yeah, I mean, I think that there is a certain deference, but no, I mean, they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
504-556-9696 to join us, brought to you by the National Right to Life Convention, July 9th through the 11th in New Orleans. And at that convention, Steve, there'll be 4 presidential candidates in a forum. Bobby Jindal will not be in the forum, which is interesting. He'll be giving a speech the day before, but will not be participating with the other candidates, which include Dr. Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, Rick Santorum, and I think Mike Huckabee might be the fourth one there. So that's interesting that he's going to do something before but won't be participating in the forum. Obviously, his goal is to get on that stage for that first Fox debate where only the top 10 are going to make it. I don't see any prayer in the world for him to make that top 10. Do you?
Well, he better start praying now in the world. I mean, he's way down there. So I'm just curious. I mean, do you callers feel the same way? Do they feel like that he has no chance at all? You know, I wrote a column yesterday basically saying that you know, the legislature really blew the opportunity. I mean, they should have you know, during the session, they should have set up something so that he pays the freight of his travel, state police, and all that. I know that's not the issue that we're discussing here, but you know, just the idea that he's so low in the polls with such a small chance of succeeding, and he is taking advantage of us, the Louisiana taxpayers, is obscene.
504-556-9696. Let's squeeze in some more calls. Steve, our friend James in Metairie joins us. What's happening, James? Good morning.
Well, good morning again, Jeff, and hello, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, no surprise, the Blaze news, so-called news in quotes, not a mention this morning of one of the prominent news stories on many mainstream media, and that's Bill Cosby's admission under oath, I think back in 2005, that he obtained drugs, Quaaludes, with the express intent to give to women to have sex.
Yeah.
Not a word on the Blaze, Jeff.
Yeah, I think that should have been covered. I think that's a big story.
It certainly should. And, of course, there are those who think they have so much insight into the human condition that they can develop these agendas, you know, of the media. Well, Bill Cosby, of course, he did criticize blacks for their emphasis on sports and whatnot at about the same time. And he's become a hero to many on the right. But Bill Cosby is like Darren Sharper, right? What he did. You know, this guy's getting what?
Well, I don't know why Cosby's not being prosecuted. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, it's a matter, I think, of statute of limitations. But there's apparently one woman. So within the range of statute of limitations. Anyway, all these women who came, there are about 36 women who have come forth and said he did the same thing, gave them drugs and invited them to the place and had sex with them.
Despicable. I mean, despicable. Really. He shouldn't be treated any differently than anybody else. And I think it's atrocious the man's not in prison.
And absolutely. And again, folks, if you listen to the Blaze News, you will be uninformed because that's a big story and they skipped right by it. Now, Jeff, been on this issue about removing Robert E. Lee, the statue, from the memorial. Now, Mark Morial, I don't know if you saw it, Steve and Jeff, but he came up with a great idea. Take it down, and in honor of the tricentennial of New Orleans, which will be in about 3 years, convert Lee Circle to Tricentennial Circle, according to Mark Morial. I think it's a great idea. We need to, again, take down... Robert E. Lee is an enemy general. He killed U.S. Army soldiers, U.S. troops in that horrible Civil War.
But I don't know if you heard my last discussion with Kerry Deaton. He can't just do that on his own.
Well,
I mean, it's
I know there's some administrative stumbling blocks, but I think enough pressure should be... Like, that guy, Robert E. Lee, is standing up there not in a business suit as the president of Washington Lee or whatever the heck he was post-Civil War. He's in a Confederate general's uniform, and a lot of people think it's very cute. Oh, he's looking north, on constantly is a watchman to make sure the Northerners
never turn his back on the North.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So the guy's an enemy general. He responsible for killing hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops. But Mark Morial, I think, has a great idea. If at all possible.
Did Mark Morial? Let me ask you this, and I consider him a friend, even though I disagree with him on most issues, and he was a co-host with me on my TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Did Mark Morial ever once, when he was mayor of New Orleans, bring up removing the Lee Monument? Did he ever make that an issue? I mean,
I don't know.
Why now, all of a sudden, after 130 years, is this some sort of a serious issue that needs all this attention?
Well, because I think the mayor and the city council and others, I'm sure there are committees, the tricentennial committees, are looking around the city and saying to themselves and to others, what do we want?
Wouldn't a better way to prepare for the tricentennial would be to make New Orleans a livable city, a safe city, a productive city, do something about the unemployment rate, the blight, the crime, the infrastructure issues? Wouldn't that be a better way to prepare for the tricentennial?
All of those are very good ideas, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time.
I think they're much more important issues when people are getting gunned down constantly, and the mayor's talking about statues. What's he doing about the crime rate? What's he doing about 58% of the black males in the city that are unemployed? The streets are literally third world streets. I've lost 4 tires living as a part-time resident in Lakeview. It's atrocious. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with James. I think in terms of I think there are other issues that mayor can address. I mean, no question, crime is a major issue, but to say that let me just say this: to say that he should not be addressing other issues, whether it be Mardi Gras or just about any other issue that may emerge, I think that's just foolish. To me, I think the question is whether Lee Circle should come down or not whether this crime.
It's not his call to make. I mean, it would have to be approved by a federal agency, which my last guest pointed out. They tried to do that to the Liberty Monument, and federal agency made them put it back after a lawsuit was filed.
Yeah. Again, my feeling is in terms of the Lee Monument and some of the other monuments, and I think we talked about this, but my feeling is that, number one, you have to see whether or not a certain monument.
Hang on, we'll come back, give you a chance to finish up, but we got to roll to a break. Okay. We'll be right back. It's Ringside, WGSO.
Suburban Roofing and Siding, 504-861-ROOF, locally owned and operated, fully licensed and insured, and a member of the BBB, and has been re-roofing South Louisiana for over 15 years. Suburban Roofing is one of only 6% of roofing contractors nationwide certified by shingle manufacturers, which will allow our customers to qualify for the manufacturer's extended warranty program. My good friend Marty Scott is honest and reliable and stands behind all of Suburban Roofing's quality workmanship. Suburban Roofing's skilled crews are experts in all types of roofs. Don't sign that contract. You call Suburban Roofing and Siding at 504-861-ROOF.
Hi, this is Jim Spyro. Join me every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. here on WGSO as we cover all the hot issues of the day. Obama, Harry Reid, the new Republican majority, the dysfunction in Congress, surveillance by the NSA, Iran, Afghanistan, all as we prepare for the presidential election in 2016. Listen in to our special guests from both sides of the aisle as we debate experts on issues relating to health care, the budget, national defense, and the U.S. Constitution. We never pull any punches, and of course we take your calls throughout the hour, so make it a point to join us each and every Wednesday, 5 to 6 here on WGSO. See you then.
Hi, this is Marcel Lashover. Join me every Friday from 5 to 6 for Show Me the Money Show on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Jobs may change, but your retirement dreams don't have to. Roll over your retirement accounts from former employers into an Ameriprise IRA to help make your retirement dreams a reality. Call Ralph Leopold today at 504-322-2975. That's 504-322-2975. Office is located at Suite 1620 in the Galleria, Metairie, Louisiana. Ameriprise Financial Services, Incorporated. Member FINRA and SIPC. Ameriprise cannot guarantee future financial results.
Farmers markets, neighborhood shopping, transit, the local food system, outdoor adventures, and more. Tune into All Things Local Saturday mornings at 9 as we talk to the people making it happen.
Tim McNally here. The Dine, Wine, and Spirit Show is daily, 3 to 5, discussing wines and restaurants and spirits right here at WGSO.
It's another edition of Ringside Politics with a Punch and Jeff Crouere. We're on the air right now. Topics are hot. The host is cool, And we're waiting for you to shed some sunlight on our vast listening audience. Call Jeff Crouere now at 556-9696.
Hey, limited time here. Steve Sabludowsky with us, Jeff Crouere here. It's ringside to be a GSO in a few minutes. Jadelle Onstock going to be joining us, the author of Yahweh Exists. And Steve, want to give you a chance to finish your comments before we squeeze in another call.
Sure, thank you. Well, basically, I think that the extremes in this situation are dominating the discussion. Number one, I don't think that a statute by itself is repugnant. I think that you have to look to see what it stands for, what it has stood for over time. I don't think Lee Circle, Burgard, no matter who they were, and yeah, they were traitors and probably never should have put those statues up in the first place. But is that what they symbolize? No. I think on the other hand, I think that look, if New York City wanted to, or Harlem wanted to raise a statue of Farrakhan, are the people going to make the same arguments? Oh my God! I mean, how can you do that? I think that you have to look at whether or not a symbol is inflammatory. In the case of Farrakhan, yeah, that would be very inflammatory. He may be a folk hero, maybe a leader in that community, but to the white community, it's inflammatory. Lee Circle, I don't think is. Beauregard, no. Jefferson Davis, no. They may have fought for the South. They probably should have been traitors at the time and convicted. They weren't. Confederate flag, I mean, that's a symbol of racism as far as I'm concerned. And if I was South Carolina, it would have gone down a long time ago.
Well, they're voting on it right now, and I think they're voting to remove it. So that's not the issue here. It involves these monuments, these statues that, again, I don't think are out there killing people on the streets. I don't think that is the real focus of what our elected officials should be doing. You say they can walk and chew gum at the same time. Well, they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing to solve the street problems, to solve the blight problems, the crime problems, the black unemployment rate. I mean, that hasn't been improved in years. So they're not doing anything, as far as I'm concerned, to really solve the long-term structural problems in New Orleans. And I think that should be a much more important focus of getting the city ready for the tricentennial than making a symbolic move to bring down this monument. That's not going to create a job. That's not going to bring back any of these people that have been killed. That's not going to improve any streets in the city of New Orleans. So I think it's just a feel-good, liberal, politically correct measure that this mayor specializes in. I think he's been a failure as a mayor. The number one job of a mayor, Steve, should be public safety, in my view. And I'm just sick that we don't get more outcry from people as this crime rate is just so ridiculously high. And the media just allows him to really get away with without any kind of scrutiny.
Well,
It's
Jeff,
just amazing to me.
A mayor by himself is not, it's a state issue, it's a federal issue, it's a regional issue. And so I don't think that we should just blame the mayor or the city council in that type of situation. I think that,
it's his number one job. He's failing in his number one job. That is it. Public safety. That's his number one job.
Okay.
That's my view. All right, let's bring on one more quick call for you, Steve, and then we got to roll. Adam in Pearl River, welcome aboard. How are you, sir? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. Well said. This focus on irrelevance helps you not to have to focus on what's important and what should be priorities, and that's what the liberals and the Democratic Party love to do. I wanted to. You were talking about Hillary Clinton's strengths earlier with Steve.
Yes.
And I don't see any strengths except these, and I think they will take her a long way. It is well known that with Hillary Clinton, the culture of entitlements will continue and flourish without limit. Number one. When you talk about putting money in people's pocketbooks, if you vote for me, that goes a long way. As far as I'm concerned, That's Hillary's main asset. She holds out that promise to those who would opt for that government check once a month. She holds out the promise to continue the culture of unions in this country. She holds out the promise of illegals coming across the border with no limits. Those attributes of hers is what will carry her and make her competitive in this election. It's not about her talent. It's not about her great character. It's not about anything else in terms of assets that belong to
Is
her.
it going to be enough to get her across the finish line, Adam? I mean, we certainly seem to see a lack of enthusiasm and her opponent generating lots of interest and support.
Certainly those airheads who could not name who the first president was of America, they will be voting for her. And we have many of them. And they're constantly being rolled out by our public school system.
Okay.
So she's got them in her pocket.
All right, my friend.
We'll just have to see, Jeff.
Thank you, buddy. That's Adam at Pearl River. Final word, Steve Sabludowsky.
Airhead, that's a good one. You know, I guess it's the intelligence versus the airheads, and you know, I just think that's absurd.
Well, we aired a clip earlier where a guy was out there asking folks about what the 4th of July meant, and person after person had no idea. So, I mean,
well, I think there are airheads in both parties. Okay, and so anyway, that's
all right, my friend. Steve Sabludowsky, thank you, sir. Bayobuzz.com. Check it out. My newest column will be up there hopefully very soon. And if you're not on board with Steve, go there, sign up, and check out the newsletter on a regular basis. And good information always at Bayobuzz.com. Thank you, Steve.